How y'all doing, everybody? Sorry, I wasn't ready. I was dealing with some technical issues, and it wasn't really major technical issues, but at the last minute, well, not the last minute, I had some time. I was actually working out the questions for tonight's guest, and with the comeback. But tonight's guest sent me a text message saying he may not be able to make it, and so I'm looking here, and I'm hoping he can do it. But if he can't, due to the fact that I said we were going live today, we're gonna do live, and so I wanted to make sure that I said let me get started. I would have loved the conversation, and since we can't do the conversation that has been scheduled, we can still, because the brother got a conversation for you. We can still talk. All right, it's just not a dialogue. How about this? And this is real. Okay, we'll bring it up, and then I'm gonna go back to the beginning and start all over. But the concept is the generation, a revolution inside the revolution. Liberation is a transgenerational experience. Of course, it was Walamu Bakiba coming up. We were going to talk about the 501c3 Akibaland alumni nonprofit program, the visions they have and what they're doing and how they're moving forward to the future, and again the revolution inside the revolution, which is a beautiful thing that's going on. I'm hoping, he said he's still at work, and so if he makes it, hopefully. If not, we're gonna carry on. But what I will say is this: anybody who has concepts of a the revolution inside the revolution, and got something to say, hit me up on my cell, and I'll show you. I'll send you the secret passcode to get to get into the show, and we can have a powwow. Hang out with the African and get it. Wait. Y'all see it? You see the lion behind me? You see the resemblance? You see the resemblance? Yeah, it's getting there. So we're gonna move forward. Now I know it's been a while since y'all seen the African Speaks, and it is because I had to take time off to actually continue building on the vision of what I have for World of Akibaland. Not only that, again, we're talking about the concept of revolution inside the revolution. We have a sacks of generations working during COVID to try to make sure that we are maintaining a community a connection via cyberspace. So when you have a revolution inside a revolution, you can have a technological revolution, right? You can have a agricultural revolution. You can have a civil rights revolution. There's a lot of levels of revolution that we can discuss and talk about, which is why I said I'm gonna be in this series for a while. But in this situation, I was working with the older generation in reference to making sure that our community can stick together, and at the same time, so I had to pull back just a little bit because it was a lot on the plate. A lot jumped on the plate, and I said, okay, we're gonna have to pause. My man Kalonji, who does the show with me, his whole life changed, and so we're not gonna speak on it until he comes back on the show. And I've been calling him like, yo, Kalonji, call me, brother. Time to redo the show. Time to get it up. But in that process, what I did do is, and I'm showing you that the work that I've been putting in terms of making sure that there is a revolution for a younger generation, and a revolution for an older generation, or a revolution for a new woke generation. And so, and we are a part of a community that has carried on. We in our 68th anniversary month. Okay, that's the Pan African Orthodox Christian Church, Shrines of the Black Madonna. That's my community that I'm in, and so I'm a part of. And we're in a process of continuing the growth. Now, here, what I'm showing you here are the things that the African has been working on. And when I did the concept, and me and Bakiba was talking about transparency within programs, right? And so I laughed and I said, brother, I write everything I'm going to produce down. All right, and this particular body of work literally goes back to when I had the visual concept of what I was going to do in terms of technology. Goes back to 2002. Yes, the African, has been fighting for technology in our community for the longest. So I picked up the mantle in 2002, but I went to work by 2015-16 with the World of Akibaland, and from that point on it just blossomed. And so I have everything that I've been trying to do written down. So what you see here is only components of what I've thought up over the years. And so I said, this has to be the year that I manifest it. And we did a whole series in the World of Akibaland Youth Program about manifestation. You know what I'm saying? Seeing it, believing it, speaking towards it, and having it to develop. And even though you have these ideas, you go back to that concept of revolution within a revolution, most people may not see it. They don't understand it. They don't get it. Why? Because maybe the vision wasn't theirs. You never know. But does that mean you stop? So again, what's coming up? We are now in the process of streaming Akibaland Sunday service, Akibaland Inspirational Sundays. I'll be on my third after stream, and I'm picking the best day and time. So right now we getting it. Wow! I actually have a meeting for an international gamer at this particular time for the Garvey Games. International gamer. Let's get that straight. We're gonna talk about having a platform to be able to host tournaments as big as 220,000 people simultaneously at one time. I'm about to open this up with the Garvey Games. And we're working on our first class for the roots and culture, as well as the African philosophy. Okay, wait. All right, we thought, give me a call. I'll give you a call later. That's not somebody who wants to be on. Again, if you're trying to be on the show, hit me up and I'll show you how to get in because the guest is not making it. So, at any given time, as we continue to proceed, with our programming, I will always ask you, if you're watching on Facebook, please like, comment, share. We call this community outreach, COR. We're trying to reach. I know World of Akibaland has the ability to do what the UNIA was able to do, and that was my vision, to be able to create an experience where Black youth can function and exist and interact across coastal plains under one umbrella. And so, like, comment, and share when it comes to bringing Black people together with conscious mindsets. All right, and so, and if you watch us on YouTube, please click and subscribe, hit the bell, so that you don't ever miss anything that we are producing, and you're a part of it. And that's, wait, I was supposed to fade that in. There we go. And so we're asking that happens. Okay. So now again today, well, let me not forget, and let me not move too fast. I'm still trying to play catch up in reference to organizing the conversation that we should have had. However, at any given time, if you feel it in your heart and in your spirit, to go to the World of Akibaland Youth Program website, and that's woaatl.org or worldofakibaland.org. Scroll to the middle of the page and donate. Hit the donate button and bless the program so that we may continue to develop and grow and create experiences online. Again, the technology that's needed. I'm forever growing. I'm forever developing. I'm forever trying to put something together to make sure that we have something. And so the last time when we had an in-house conversation previously, wow, wait, let's see if I can get this right. There we go. We had an in-house conversation conversating about the perfect storm. And when we discussed the perfect storm, we discussed the opportunity that black people have at this particular time, the opportunity that young adults have at this particular time, the opportunity that organizations have at this particular time, in terms of our ability to utilize the technology before us in the times that we're in. Timing, technology, and leadership. And that's the hard part, because COVID-19 changed the demographics of, or the concept of how we need to interact with each other and how we need to move forward. Because if we don't have, and then y'all remembered how Facebook, WhatsApp, WhatsApp, and Instagram crashed. And in that conversation, in that experience, let me pull it from behind the tiger's mouth. Look at that. Wow, that's fly. It's behind the tiger's mouth, and I can come out with it. Pow! Right? Let's see what page is on. And I can tell you on page. It's a 7, 8. I think on page 10, where I talk about the black cyber generation. Which is the hope of what World of Land can develop, which is the black cyber generation. Generation inside a generation, when you're trying to tell the new leadership that we need to focus on and invest in high levels of technology. We need to master technology around us, because as black people, this is the next level and next wave of the world. And having black kids be able to compete on a level of anything else, and not only that, to be able to have an organization that can create the foundations of technology, or the apps and the softwares and the applications that they need to use in order to move forward. Need to have our own social media engines. We need to have our own browsers. We need to sit down and develop our own OSs for software applications, where we can build laptops for ourselves. Let's talk about it. Dell only became Dell because they went to warehouses where these motherboards were and said, we want to stamp our name on this piece of equipment. And so you go to Microsoft and get him to put his software on your computer. Well, there are other operating systems that you could use. Now, what happens if we have a scenario where we're developing a younger generation that is equipped to compete at this time, at this moment, at this day and age? The revolution inside the revolution, meaning that there is nothing more sacred than the liberation of black people. That is our statement of faith. And in that statement of faith of those who are freedom fighters, because you have some people who talk the game, but they don't walk the game. They don't play it. They talk it. So they want to read, but do they build? Do they get their elbows dirty? You know what I mean? How far you go in, and that was why it was important to bring Bakiba in, and hopefully one day he comes back through this and to this to have this discussion with us. Because he is developing a generational movement of his peers and younger, which is beautiful, based off the teachings of our brother. And if you don't know, look him up, Reverend Albert B. Cleet, Jermoji for us, Jermoja Baby Achiman. And it is a beautiful thing, and to witness Bakiba crawling across the states, interacting with those who grew up in the experience of liberation and revolution, and coming up with new concepts, new ideas, and new ways to go about bringing black people together for a purpose. And that's real. That's what this is about. And so being able to create that experience where you say in the revolution inside the revolution, there's a movement, but there may be the view is different. How you focus is different. What I think is important may not be important to another generation, but that doesn't mean my vision is it shouldn't be tried. I always say we need everybody, and I think I put this on the thing. Everybody's voice. We don't need to all speak at the same time, but everybody's voice deserves to be heard and represented. Everybody's voice deserves to be heard and represented. When you're dealing with the revolution inside the revolution, liberation is a transgenerational experience. One of the things that we had a problem with in past programs and organizations is the fact that once the leadership was gone, once they killed off, assassinated the leadership, movement died. Movement ended. And I can say that the Pan African Orthodox Christian Church is the only program that's been going for the last 68 years who talks about the liberation of black people. You might have other organizations who are sprouting up using off, ciphering off the information, knowledge, and wisdom in which we produce. But 68 years doing it, the largest black-owned farm in the United States, it's a lot to say. And then now you have the spinoff, World of Akibaland, because I saw the need to upgrade or have a secure foot in technology. And so it was a beautiful thing when Bakiba came and we began to discuss the resurgence of Akibaland and what it would look like. I said, I'm good as long as I don't have to deal with the politics. I can do more in God, for God, with God, on behalf of God, for the liberation of black people, if I don't have to deal with the red tape that they have. And then, most of the time they ask you to do what they want you to do versus you getting to do what you feel God has called you to do. Because of the revolution is so huge. And I understood it. It's just so huge. Well, what does God call you to do? And so as people watching who are not a part of an organization or a program and connected, you figure, you have that, you know, Black Lives Matter movement. That's good. Talkolution. Great. Talkolution. Nothing wrong with it, but it's talkolution. Because you got to understand that power is built within institutions. And so I would love, and I need to might dive into that and get one of those spokesmen to come on and speak, see if I can find the Atlanta spokesman for BLM. And to talk about the institutions that they're building, the youth programs and after school centers and the development and training and everything else that they have, if that is it, because that's what we need. That's what Bakiba was going to be able to talk about. It's a revolution inside the revolution, a movement inside the movement. I know for me again, it was the pause where I sat down and said, I have to build what I don't see. And that was the thing for me. I remember my brothers were saying, "Oh, everybody want to see you on social media." I was on social media for a minute. I was doing good out there in the world, doing good. And I said, "Okay, let me get up there and say hello to some folk that I ain't seen in years, like a high school reunion." And then when I realized it was all fluff, I said, "Now I got to build something." And that's when the African came about some years ago. And so in that space, what does my struggle look now? There are more programs being added to this because my division that I had years ago, if you ever look at the website, there's a place on the website that talks about World of Akibaland TV. And I was like, really? And right now I'm trying to look at the website, blog, contact us, gallery. Where we at? I'm trying to look at who we are. There we go. Oh, no, that's not it. Who we? I'm trying to look. I'm looking up the location where on the website you could actually see this design. All right. Oh, I gotta find it. I gotta pull it up. But on one of the pages, it's set up where it shows you what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build and where we're trying to go with it. And one of the concepts was, okay, that's the store. One of the concepts was World of Keybland TV, because I knew that the mobile app business was about to blow. Being able to watch TV right here, ridiculous. And so, no, I wanted that to happen. I'm trying to check to see if there's somebody checking to say, "Hey, let me in," and I'm like, "Okay, it's not happening yet, so it's all right." And so I wanted that to happen. I wanted to see that happen. Where wow, we watching cell phones, and that was back in early 2000. Again, trust me, I've been building on this since 2002. 2002, and I had to ask myself, other than photography and graphics, learning illustrations, and then you learning how to do web design, and then I had to learn how to do videography, and then I had to learn how to live stream to make it look nice. Through the processes of being in the revolution and creating an experience of a revolution inside the revolution. And that's why African spirituality has to be a part of the class, because you got to know where we're being fed this information. Because you have an idea, how do you go about, where are you going to go to open yourself to the creator and the ancestors to get these ideas to connect to the liberation struggle? And so I do that. So it's so many more programs, and I don't, if I don't, of course I speak them out to myself and to the ancestors until I find the time to plug them in and actually build them. But I want to speak them out because I don't want somebody else taking them. But it'll happen. It'll happen. You know what I'm saying? We'll have this revolution, because anytime we're talking about bringing black people to back to where they are or where they should be in God, God will give everybody grand ideas. Grand ideas. And then he will show you the path to lay it out. You know, many are called, but few are chosen to walk down. Few accept the call. And so when you realize the magnitude of what needs to be done in our lives so that we can live in a space of being our true authentic selves, where I'm not, you know what I mean, I can get a job because of my skill set, not turned down for a job because of my skin color or my name. You know, I mentioned it before. Some of us are still naming our kids American names so that way, you know, I got to make sure that my kid can get a job. I remember somebody telling me that. I was like, what? Really? Yeah. Now you and we don't understand. You got a name. No disrespect to anybody. Mercedes, they gonna look at you twice. Look at you first, and they gonna look for Laura. You got a name like Porsche, they gonna look at you. You're different. Lamborghini, Lambo. Yeah, you put that on a resume, thinking you're gonna get your ideal job. It takes a minute. Sometimes why? Because it's systematic, and it's not the individual, but it's that systemic racism. And so the vision of being able to have a revolution inside the revolution, where I say there are things that need to be done, and right now the generation that is before me may not be accomplishing what I think is needed for the next generation. Because this is not for my generation, it's for the next generation. What platforms? Now I haven't, I've advertised it, but I haven't done it yet. And a lot of people say you need to do it, and I said I will, but I didn't want to do a cyber class to teach this to a bunch of kids before I taught them the history in which they come out of. That's why that roots and culture, because it's time for me, yes, to teach the cyber aspect of what I want to do. African spirituality, the children's Sunday inspirationals. It was important to create a revolution inside the revolution, because the older generation did not have the technical skills to actually do these things. And when Corona hit, everybody was like, "Oh!" And they were fishing, and they still are, to try to figure out how to master social media marketing, how to use this platform as a means of community outreach and bringing people in. Individuals who have been stuck in the house for COVID have quadrupled in terms of membership because they took the time. Individuals in certain places said, stop, this is what we got to do, and then shut it down. And that was their focus and their only focus all day. Now, I don't, I can't, God, my house was blessed. How do I do all of this and keep a 9 to 5? That was the issue of African spirituality. I'm going up there, up to the top, up to the top. And then because I understood who I was, that's that African history. And then looking at the topics, and I said, let me feed this spirituality to the kids. Well, you see that? And I said, I don't want to always be serious because I like playing. I'm a big kid. Well, Garvey Games. And then I said, after Garvey Games and dealing with the Pan-Africanism, I said, we all over. I got to start dealing with the topics that are all over the world. Wait, that way. After stream. And there's so many more levels of this coming. But again, it's the generation inside the generation. The revolution inside the revolution. And that's important. Now, in that space, you can get to a point where you feel like nobody's allowing you to speak. Woo! Let's get unbridled. Where your voice is being hushed within the revolution. Woo! That's when that's a different now. You got an issue. Because right, you don't fit. You might be a circle that's trying to fit in a square peg. Yo, let the squares do their thing, and find your circle whole. You go to the Creator, the ancestors, and you speak to your friends and your peers, and find out who have the same ideas, concept, and love that I have, and you seek for them to build it with you. And then, if they don't want to do it, does that mean you not do it? Or you continue building until, they said you build great things, they will come. I paused, which messed up my algorithm and my flow and my community and the thing. They said our first stream hit I didn't even advertise using social media marketing. I said I'm doing, and I didn't do it because I was waiting for the community to catch up because I'm not trying to have DaAfrican Speaks as being the higher or greater word. I didn't want that. But now I got no choice because I'm a revolution inside the revolution. And so I'm using social media marketing. I'm waiting, using my resources to build on top of that. I practiced it a couple of days ago where I'm posting 6 times a day. Yeah. And I'm creating and designing my own posts. A lot of graphic work. And I'm creating the shows and the content for the shows. Yeah. It's the revolution inside the revolution. Why? Because I never wanted to feel like I can't speak with the power of God that's in me. You see that? It's got to come out. And so my idea and the concept was, let's create a platform for everybody who seeks to build on behalf of black people. Let them speak. Let them understand who and whose they are. African history is coming. I'm trying to get teachers, other teachers than myself, to participate. African spirituality, so you can understand what was black folk, Africans and African Americans tapping into to get this far. We just experienced the Quicentennial 2 years ago, 2019, of us being here on African American soil. Or American soil. African Americans on American soil. How's that? Yeah, that's better. 400 years. And so it's important for us to sit down and say, okay, how are we looking at who we are and what we're doing? And are we moving toward closer to where God would have us? So how did we get here? Well, we had people who understood who and whose they are. Roots and culture, the spirituality in which they tap into, African spirituality. And they enjoyed themselves. The Garvey Games. And then now the issue is the Pan-African movement. And this is a conversation we're going to have. If I can do it Wednesday, today's Monday, I got somewhere to be Tuesday. We're going to try for AfriStream on Wednesday night. That's rough. We're gonna try that on Wednesday night. Again, I'm trying to pick the best dates. Or I really want to do it every night if I can get enough people to participate. But I got another one streaming Wednesday. Last time I did it on Friday. So, but this is gonna happen every week, if not twice a week, 3 times a week. If I can do it 7 days a week, after streaming something I can do every day. I had four months of data saved and stored on a hard drive, and I had a visitor and they broke my USB by accident. So I'm playing catch up, but that didn't mean I said I wasn't going to launch. But we got to get to a point where we are giving the creator everything we can give. We're giving the creator everything, or responding to life according to this perfect storm experience. Black folk have an opportunity in reference to moving us forward through leadership, technology, and timing. I had a sister and one of my closest friend. One love, Tia. Yeah, I'm talking about you. And she watches every now and then. Tia stated that she said, "I don't want my child to go to college." So what? Yeah, I wasn't. He has ideas and he has dreams. And what should I tell him about not going to school? I said, that's fine. What is his dreams? I said, because we live in a world of technology where a kid doesn't have to. Not unless he's going to truly pursue his technological aspirations, but he doesn't wait until he's 18. Because nowadays, in terms of timing, this has been making more millionaires in time now than it's ever been before. And I didn't want to make millions by myself. Hence, World of Akibaland. I've talked about this again, maybe 7, 8 years ago. Can we build a youth program and get everybody to participate where the youth program finances itself? And I can show us how to do it. And then we could go across the community. And that was it's still that part of the revolution is still a revolution. And my key word is, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you. I will sit on information so long until I'm tired of sitting. Now I got to act. And that's what this is. Lion sees something and he sees lunch. He sees eat. He sees action. And he pounces. That's why he's the king. Other than that, you see every other animal trying to share the water. I like community. But when you're talking about action for the sake of survival, I'm either going to be a gorilla, where I am a gorilla, and I am a lion. I am a gorilla and a lion. I'm slowly trying to get to the point where I'm an elephant, which is like wisdom. I'm getting there. But right now, if I'm an elephant, I'm like a little baby elephant. But a gorilla and a lion. So I told the sister, look, you don't have to push your son to a 4-year degree where you're in debt. But you have to make sure that whatever he's going to start, he starts now. Because if he waits until he's 18, he's already behind the 8 ball. He can take the generation in which he's a part of and actually move that forward. That's a revolution inside a revolution. Same thing with World of Akiba. I don't know how many kids, and I'm working on these servers. There's one brother I said I got to get him a computer, and I'm still going to get him a computer. Another family, I got 2 families that I'm working on. I'm still working on. It's costing me some change, so I got to save the change. Ayan went back to school, and she had some stuff, so I had to pay that stuff. So y'all are coming. But there are individuals that I know in my community who could use computers, not just for the sake of just I got a PC, but because they're visionaries of their time. And that sometimes the leadership is not outside yourself. Sometimes the leadership is within you. Sometimes it's you. You are the leadership that the world is looking for. You. Your ideas, your concept, it's you. I sat down and said, yeah, Somebody said, you're the next internet millionaire. They told me about this about 6 years ago, and I laughed. She said, because everything you got is what everybody's using. And I said, yeah. She said, you do it better than everybody. I said, I appreciate you, but I can't do it like that. I said, I'm a part of a community, part of a struggle, and then I got to find a way to get the revolution to move towards another means of revolution. Revolution inside the revolution. Sometimes it's not pretty because sometimes they don't listen. But there's nothing more sacred than the liberation of black people. Say that. There's nothing more sacred than the liberation of black people. I can look into the camera. And so you got people, and we're going to deal with this on AfriStream too, because I mean, I have a good friend of mine, and all she talks about is traveling, traveling, traveling. So, so when do you slow down and do something for your community where you build a legacy for who you are? With Corona the way the Corona is, you catch COVID and you pass. What'd you leave somebody that we can build on in terms of a thought, concept, or even anything? Mm. Now we have ancestors who have transitioned in our community who were straight up leadership for us. And that's some of the drive that I push for. So I call on them and ask them for vision. And I sit down and I put it on paper. And I take a look at it and I weigh it according to the time I'm living in, the technology or the means to manifest it. And then if I can't find someone to share it with, I say okay. God is asking me to do it for myself. Now the concept of a Keebler alumni 501, and I wish he was here to talk about it. And I want that to be like the salt of the earth. I want to keep a land to be the alumni, to be the salt of the earth. Woo! And I offer them, always say it, yo. So let me know what you need via technology, because I'm here to assist. And his level of technology is not necessarily utilizing technology. It's not, at least not yet. It's technology is the bringing together of people. That's his key resource. Some people's technology is people. So when you're creating that experience of the perfect storm, where you're trying to move something forward and nobody wants to help you move it forward, that thing keep going out. So we're going to start it from the beginning. And you are the perfect storm. You're in the perfect storm. You got to get to a spiritual experience where you are the perfect storm. Timing, technology, or whatever the creator is giving you to utilize to manifest that idea, concept. Your technologies around you and the leadership within you. Or you can find a mentor, find somebody that you can believe in that could steer you right. A lot of individuals sit down and say, I'm seeking a business advisor or business mentor. We got life coaches in a particular environment or arena. That's the leadership. Why? Because there's always been a revolution going on. Ever since we hit this place, what is it, in the 1800s? How far? No, it's before that. When slavery started. Since we got here, we've been in a revolution. And we've been looking for perfect storms ever since we got here. Trying to fight our way out of situations where we just want to be authentically ourselves. Looking for that perfect storm. And then tapping into the spirit and realizing, wait a minute, I am the storm. Everything that I need is right here within me, and I just got to see where God is leading me. I am the storm. And it doesn't even matter if you right beside me, you working with me or not, because there's nothing that's going to stop me from manifesting what God has inside me. Who and whose we are. Again, tonight's conversation was supposed to be with Brother Bakiba, and he couldn't make it. The conversation was liberation is a transgenerational experience, but he couldn't make it. So we're going to save that conversation. We're going to save it for another day. But we also always have to realize that perfect storm and who we are and what we need. Are you the perfect storm in your own life? Woo! Is it you? Let me stop that. I like that. I like the way this whirlwind looks. Right there. We're going to stop that right there. I love the way that whirlwind looks. Are you the perfect storm in your own life? Have you put together the things around you? I don't want it to move. Let's keep moving. The things around you to get done what you need done? Are you your own perfect storm? Or are you missing a component within your character that keeps you from manifesting what God has called you or your visions? I have somebody who came up with a design one day, and all she does is stare at it saying, I don't know what to do with it. I said, well, okay, making it is just one thing. Maybe you're supposed to show it. Or sit down, and now that you've developed it, pull out what does it mean to you and then talk about what it means. But share it. You don't keep it with yourself. Share it and speak on it. You got people up in here doing stuff online where they not talking about anything. And they get, and as broken as we are as a people, get all it. That's all the entertainment they want. Validation. Why? Because we are still feeling inferior. So we need validation through craziness. Are you the perfect storm in reference to how you see who you are in the creator and in the ancestors and what you're trying to create? Is that you? Did you take this time during Corona to manifest the best of you? Woo! What is sitting inside you that you're being called to create in a world of technology that will help not only just you grow, but others grow around you? Are you the perfect storm? And if not, what is it that you have to do to become that movement? We've been in this revolution since we got here. 400 years. 402. 402 years on this in this soil. And now we have more access to technology than ever before. And all you have to do is master the best of you to get to your perfect storm. Who you are. And manifest that. Or find a group of people who share that same thought. And be that movement inside a movement that has been existing since we got here. Can you find the perfect storm in you? Because I see it around us. I see it all around us, and we have to give ourselves that opportunity. Again, I apologize. We couldn't. That the show came back. We were going to have I was hoping to have the most inspirational conversation where you get to hear what the generations are putting together on behalf of the up and coming black youth, the other generations. And so we have a number of generations. I'm going to see if I can get older generations to come on and discuss the revolution inside the revolution, because they experienced it, where they had to take over and move it forward. And that's what they've been doing. And that's what we've been seeing in our community for the last 68 years. Now, how do they prepare to when all you know is living for God? How do you prepare to take your hands off to let somebody grab it? Woo! That's hard. That's hard. I can tell you that's hard, because ain't nothing like living your life every day, the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, living every day for the liberation of black people, because it's nothing more sacred. Giving yourself to the community, nothing more sacred. Man, you can't experience. Brother said the last time we had this, and one of the first shows we had about why is it important to learn African history. He said the best thing that you could ever experience is using your life to help somebody else. You want to get close to God. You want to get closer. Make sacrifices for someone else, other than yourself. Be the storm. As a community, as a people, if we living for each other, man. Be the storm. Be perfect in your imperfection. Be perfect in your imperfection, because none of us are man, I'm about to go, y'all. None of us are perfect in our behavior, attitude, or in terms of how we address. We're not perfect people, but we can be perfect in our creation. God created an earth or a planet that is around us in perfect mathematical symmetry. Not one thing can change in terms of the compounds that makes this earth. Not one thing, because the universe would not exist. So he created an entire universe for us to exist in it. As black people, for us to exist in it. And we were the first ones to walk in the miracle of life. No other race. Everybody comes from us. How are we not the perfect storm to make this world what it is supposed to be in the sight of the Creator? And how we not focus on that? How we not drive for that? How we not live for that? Because that's who we were called to be when we our first footsteps on any dust, soil, clay, or what rock, swimming in the water, it was us. We have dominion over all of it. And how we not find perfection in who we are in God and use our technologies around us to manifest the best we can for ourselves. Man, there's a Pan-African movement going on all over the globe. If y'all missed the AfroStream movement all over the globe, that means you got African leaders all over the globe in whole areas of the diaspora now speaking forward reparations for black people everywhere. What? Demanding respect from European countries and cultures. What? They're finding the perfect selves and saying, we will be the fullness of who we are in God. What? How powerful is that? Find the perfect you and join this movement. We got a revolution going on. We've always had one going on since they came in with their guns, trying to make us into something that we not, trying to figure out now how they still living. Wait a minute. And they waking up? Wait a minute. We got a generation that's coming out the womb woke. And that's different. So anybody speaking the way they were speaking back 20, 30 years ago got to change their conversation. Because we're giving birth to woke individuals. That's why you have BLM, because they not sleep. It was almost instant when they shot up. Now, of course, that's blind rage for me, but still, they need the guidance of institutional building. Woo! And when AfroStream is coming Wednesday, we're going to talk about this institutional building Wednesday on a Pan-African level to show you what's being done. That's a guarantee, and I'm going to put that advertisement now. I'm so full of spirit right now. Woo! I'm going to show you what other people are doing. And how do you connect with that? Technologies. Let's do it. Let us be the perfect storm and liberate our people and fight and stop playing these games. And I'm always going to try to figure out how to be even more perfect. People say, we don't know how you do what you do. I always say, I don't know how you not see it. Obvious to me, it's that lion that realizes that we ain't free yet, but I'm hungry and I'm going to eat. What you going to do? Be perfect.